See this Hadiza again.
Okay.
Hadiza, don't come. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. You can talk now, like that. Listen.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello, for I can hear you.
All good then. Ready to go when you are.
Okay. Good morning. Sorry, it's afternoon now.
Hi, good afternoon. Let me put on my video. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Awesome. How are you, Farmer?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for asking.
Right. So we're just going to give a couple of minutes to allow people to actually join the call. I don't know if everybody else can hear me. Are you in the call? Because it's showing that I'm speaking.
I can hear you. Just let me know when you're good to start.
Okay. Okay, all right, no problem. We're just waiting for a few more people to join and then we'll start. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for joining us on our live session today on Aston University, London. We have with us the wonderful Hadiza, and she's the regional manager, West Africa, for Cambridge Education Group. She'll be introducing herself shortly. But in the meantime, while the Q&A session is going on, please feel free to drop your questions, any comments that you have in the comments, and then we would take any of them after the back and forth. All right, so we'll be getting started shortly. Hi, Adiza.
Hello, once again.
Hi, please can you just introduce yourself briefly to our audience?
Definitely. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever part of the country you are joining from. My name is Hadiza Seaman. I am the regional manager for University of Hull and University of Aston, London Study Centres. Basically, I cover Nigeria and Ghana.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. You look very beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. You do too.
Thank you. All right, so let's just jump straight into it because I know that people want to hear plenty about the UK. So, I mean, let's get started. So, why exactly do you think the UK is such a popular destination?
Interesting question. So we have quite a number of top study destinations, and I won't take that away from my very learned listeners. I know countries like Australia, Canada, US are also top. New Zealand are top study destinations. But through to be told, the UK has several factors why it has become quite popular. And this is not just talking about the world class universities we have in the UK. A lot of times I hear students tell me about the short course duration, so that's also a catch. And the UK is quite closer to Nigeria, so it's easier for you to come back during holidays and then return back without thinking about 12 hours, 14 hours, journey or trip around the world just to get back to your home country. The UK also has a high quality educational system that favors international students, all right, and then acceptability, adaptability. Students are easily able to, migrate into the system. There's this accommodative presence that the UK citizens naturally just carry around them. They easily welcome international students, and not to mention, of course, the post-study work opportunities, what I think is one of the things your listeners would want to, or your viewers would want to know more about. So post-study work opportunities is also why the UK is quite popular. Then the cultural
Oh,
diversity. So that is just, the list is endless. The list is endless. But then again, qualifications or degrees from the UK are globally recognized, right? So that's also one important thing. And last but not the least, I mean, you do have quite a number of scholarships and funding options available for students in the UK, especially for international students. So this is why we have seen the UK become quite popular recently.
oh, okay, all right. You've actually touched on a lot of things that would have been in my questions, but still, I'm still going to drag the questions in anyway because there's no harm in expatiating so that our audience would understand fully. So, in terms of welcoming, because I know that some people have heard UK is not really a good place as Africans, they're not really welcoming. So, I mean, what can you tell us about their acceptability? How well is it for Africans to integrate into their society? What's the cultural aspect? And of course, the support services that are available for our African students?
Interesting question. So the UK is actually very rich in history and culture, right? And like I always say, each time I get the opportunity to say talk about this, I always tell the students, I say it depends on your personality, it depends on who you are as an individual. If you're very timid, if you're very reserved, all right, you might find it a bit difficult when you get to the UK to mix in, to adjust and to adapt. So the culture shock for you might take a bit longer than other people. So it I won't take out your personality out of the equation. It also has to do with you. The UK is the UK. They are who they are, right? It
Of
depends
course.
also on where you find yourself. There are different places. I mean, the UK is like a big place. So we have Scotland, we have Ireland, we have England, we have London. It's a whole lot. So it depends on where you find yourself. But learning to understand the culture in that particular place where you find yourself and opening yourself up to learning, but insisting on where you're coming from, your tradition, your culture, from where you are coming from, that's going to be a red flag for you. So that is just one thing I would put out there. If you're coming into the UK, come with an open mind, be open to explore, be open to learn the culture. Don't bring the culture from Nigeria or from Ghana to the UK. Learn how things are done, how they dress, how they talk. You might
Yeah.
need to change, especially how you talk. You might need to change a little bit of that because the way we address ourselves here in Nigeria or in Ghana is quite different from how you communicate when you get to the UK. So, and then when
Definitely.
you're speaking to people, you need to look them straight in the eyes. I know here we come with the mindset that if you're talking to your elders, you need to put your head down. There's a lot of changes in tradition and culture. You need to
Yes.
adapt, learn how they do it in the UK, and with time, you just find yourself, easily migrated into the system.
Okay, all right, that's very wonderful. I'm tempted to go to the UK to go and study.
You're welcome.
All right, so I mean, you did touch on post-study opportunities for African students. So for international students that are coming to the UK, how easy is it for them to get these post-study opportunities? Because a lot of people see it as investing a lot of money to go abroad to go and study. So can you touch on the post-study opportunities that are actually available for international students?
That is one of the interesting things about the UK. That is what also attracts international students to the UK. But then again, there are terms and conditions, there are rules, there are regulations that students are expected to go by when it comes to post-study work permit. Now, it also depends on the university. So one thing we have going for us is for University of Aston, London, for example, we have paid internships. We have voluntary internships, but we just get the students engaged in internship programs where they already get, that self-aware of organizations they can work in after their studies. They pretty much know how operations are done. It's easy for them to then get a job. So one thing I promise, guarantee is the better word. One thing I guarantee students is if you come to University of Aston, London, you get employed 6 months after graduation. And this is what we have seen happen over time, right? Because Aston is known for that, that's one of the unique selling points for Aston. Very high employability. So what I tell students is you open yourself up to learning, take up voluntary, whether it's paid or not, take up jobs, just build your resume. Take up jobs, even if it means doing it for free. I know you need to earn money, you need to get stipends, but take up opportunities where you just intern, learn the job, even if they're not paying you for it, but you're building your resume.
Of
At
course.
the end of your program, it will be easier for you to get a job. So when you're getting a job for the UK, from my experience back then, when we had this one-on-one counseling with students, I always tell them when you get to the UK, this is what you must do. Do not put money forward. Yes, you want to make pounds, you want to start earning in pounds, but don't put that forward. All right. Be open
Yeah.
to exploring every job opportunity you have, because if you're making an application after your studies for a post-study work, we already know that opportunity is there for students, right? But getting the job is also an issue. So, but an employer who sees you already have 2 or 3 work experience in the UK, whether internship or not, you stand a better chance as opposed to you just coming with a resume that shows you were working in Nigeria with no previous or prior experience working in the UK. So
Of
these are
course.
what students need to be aware of just to better prepare them for life after studies in the UK. The opportunity is there. But let me also add that there are certain hours, I think you would know better because this is your field. There are a number of hours that they are allowed to work in the UK. Now,
Yes.
seen cases where they violate this, right? They go beyond that extra dedicated hours for work. If you do that, don't think you were doing it and getting away with it. It is not that easy. Nobody might call you out then and then, but by the time you want to apply for your post-study work permit, it will show from the system. This is a developed country. It is not, like the system we have here in Nigeria. They would be able to see if you have worked beyond the stipulated hours assigned to you on a student visa. And where you
Yeah.
have violated that, I'm afraid you have risked your chances of getting a post-study work visa. That is how it works.
That's actually very, very, very true because we always advise our students like you are given 20 hours. That's usually the max amount of time that you can work,
Yeah,
especially while you're still in school.
yeah,
So don't jeopardize your opportunity for when you actually graduate. Just stick to the rules that were set, and then you're good to go. So thank you so much for
exactly.
that. All right, so let's get into the meat of why we're here. Please, can you give us a little bit about your university?
Interesting, right? So, for now, we work with just 2 partner universities, Aston and Hall, right? Under the Cambridge Education Group, which is the parent company under which we have on campus, we have campus services. Now, CEG, which is the popular acronym for Cambridge Education Group, is that is the organization I work with. But for now, we have 2 partner universities where we progress students for master's program, and that is Aston and Hall. Now, both study centers are in the heart of London. One thing we do have going for us, however, is the small class size, right? We have very small class size, about 25 to 30 students that we take in the class. It is a community of students. There's a very closely knitted community relationship, ensuring that students get that extra support they need, especially for students who may be struggling in one or two areas regarding their courses. So for us, really, for either Hall or Aston London, it is not about this, it's not just about a number. For us, it is about you as a student. And of course, you already know London is quite popular, has become a very popular study destination, highly ranked for students who are actually looking to get jobs after studies. So I think pretty much that is what we do. But like I did say again, we have just master's program. We don't do pathways. We don't do pre-masters. We don't do what's the other one called? There's pre-masters and there's
Top up.
top up. Yes, top up. Yes, there's top up. So we don't offer those. We only offer direct masters into any of the courses we have available on for Aston and for Hall. For now, we do have quite a number of courses, about four courses for Hall and about eight for Aston, all available on the website. And entry requirements are quite, very flexible. Am I answering the question you have not asked me yet?
You're still going, you're still loading.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so entry requirements are quite flexible. Can accept. We understand the market, the Nigerian market and the Ghana market. So we have put requirements in two categories: non-academic and academic requirements. I'll explain. So academic requirement basically means you have a degree in 2-2, which is the minimum entry requirement into any of the master's program we offer. You either have a bachelor's degree 2-2 or you have a HND in addition to a postgraduate diploma. Now, where you don't have either of these, so maybe you have just a HND or maybe you have just a third class, right? Then in that case, we will not be considering you based on the academic assessment. We will then consider you as a non-academic assessed student. What that means is we would expect that you have the prerequisite work experience. So if you have a HND, for example, we would expect that you have 5 years work experience.
Okay.
Relevant work experience in the course you are choosing to apply for. And if you have a third class, you want to do masters, because we don't do pre-masters, we don't do pathway, we don't do, top up. We can take you directly for masters. Years relevant work experience.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's actually wonderful. So with this, just to clarify, do we have undergraduate opportunities for students that are interested in coming to either Hall or Aston?
Okay. For a minute, I wasn't seeing myself, but if you
Oh,
can
it
see,
froze.
yeah, okay, good. Am I live now? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Right. So, like I said earlier, we only offer master's program. We don't do undergraduates. We don't do top ups. We don't do pathways. That's for our sister branch, which is on campus. On
Okay.
campus is where you have those opportunities and offerings. For campus services under the same CEG, it is strictly masters.
Okay. All right. So that in case there's anybody that did not hear properly, so that nobody come and start asking for undergraduate courses. So, all right. For English requirements, because we do know that universities abroad have English requirements for international students. We do know that sometimes WAEC is acceptable, some places don't accept WAEC. So, what are the English requirements for the institutions that you have?
Basically, it's the same thing, a minimum of C5 in WAEC, NICO, or GCSE.
Okay.
Where we don't have students meeting the C5 minimum requirements, then we would expect that they have either IELTS or TOEFL or any of the professional English language examinations. But outside that, we usually would just accept WAEC, NICO, or GCSE minimum C5.
Okay. All right. Do you have, for the institutions that you have, I know that most UK universities don't actually have application fees attached, but are there discounts or scholarships available for Nigerian and other African international students?
Trust me, this is the most important question I think your viewers and the listeners are waiting. Okay, my screen just keeps going off and on, but please, if at any point you're not hearing me, just let me know. Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
do
couldn't hear
have.
you for a bit.
Okay, but can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Right. So I said that was a very interesting question. And I think that for your viewers and listeners, they've been waiting for you to ask this. Yeah. So scholarship, scholarship, we do have. Discounts we have as well for Hall and for Aston. Now, for Hall, we give an automatic bursary of £3,000 off their tuition fees. This is automatic, right? They don't need to apply for it. They don't need to meet any requirements for them to get it. For Aston, we give as high as £9,500 off the tuition fee, right, for Aston. And for students who pretty much, have applied to maybe Hall, they understand that the fees are relatively lower than Aston. For example, standard fee for Hall is £17,000, right? Standard tuition fee for Aston is about £23,000. So that is
Okay.
the difference between, that is why there's a bit of difference in the scholarship we're offering. So we're taking about 9,000 plus off the tuition fee for Aston. It brings it down to about 14,000 pounds. And for Hall, by the time we effect the £3,000 automatic scholarship, it brings it down to about £14,000, thereabout. Yeah.
Okay.
Both scholarships are automatic. They don't need to apply for it.
Okay. Oh, those are very generous scholarships.
I know. We're just generous like that.
That's very nice. I'm very, very happy. I said you're giving me ginger. Maybe I should actually throw myself in the ring to
No,
get
no,
the
no,
opportunity.
don't throw yourself. Just get as many students as you can into the ring.
No problem at all. Okay, there's something that students like to know, because I mean, when it comes to accommodation, is that a service that is available for international students?
Uh, for us, for both our campuses, students are only expected to come twice a week.
Okay.
So they have pretty much enough time for them to do personal stuff if they want to. And I always say, if you don't want to stay in London, if you think the standard of living in London is high, you only come in for twice a week. So you can get an Airbnb or you can just get an accommodation where you get to pay only for twice a week, right? So we have some recommended accommodations. And this would range between a minimum of £120 per week to about £440 per week. It
Yeah.
depends on their budget. It depends on what they want. Some want privacy, some want a space to themselves, some are happy to share. So it depends on what they want really. But that's the range of accommodations. And why we have this recommended is because proximity. It is
Yeah.
quite close to the campus. So we don't expect students to get anywhere farther than 30 minutes away from the campus. But we're happy for them to get their accommodations themselves. Some of them already have family members who are living in London, so it's just easier for them to, stay with them. So, which is fine as long as it is not farther than 30 minutes away. So that's the recommendation for accommodation.
Okay. All right. What would you say? I mean, let's give an opportunity to actually tantalize our audience. What would you say student life is like on campus?
Well, we do have quite a number of interesting activities ongoing on campus, but because these are master's students, right, not undergraduate students, so we expect them
Definitely.
to be more serious. It's just for 1 year. It's just for 1 year, not much time to play around. But there's some level of independence, meaning that they can do their stuff, they can do what they want to do, right?
Okay.
I think you find most of those side attractions and fun stuff for undergraduates, not really most of an option for postgraduate students because, like I said, it's just a 1 year program, and then they have some level of independence to choose what they want to do with their free time. And while they're on campus, they have access to several facilities if they want to do their research, if they want to have personal one-on-one sessions, if they want to have private meetings. The campus has, those facilities in place for them. But that's pretty much it. They decide what they want to do.
Ah, okay. All right. So, I mean, if you were to give advice to our African students, that are a little bit hesitant about coming to the UK or studying in the UK, do you have any advice that you can give them, maybe to push them in the right direction?
Yeah, I do actually. It's okay to be hesitant. There's nothing wrong about being hesitant. Take your time. There's no need to rush. There's no pressure. It's a whole life changing opportunity. It's a life changing decision you're about to make. So, this is not one you should rush into. It is not one you should go because your friends are doing it. It is something you need to be prepared for physically, mentally, and financially, right? So
Yes.
yes, you're getting scholarships, but then you also need to be financially prepared because there's going to be interviews, there are going to be financial checks, bank verifications, visa questions about financial and all that. So you need to be prepared financially, very important. But mentally, you also need to mentally prepare your mind that this is what you want to do at this point in your life, and you are prepared to either leave for those of you who are not doing research programs. You are prepared to leave. For those of you who have families, you are prepared to leave your family behind. There will be no distractions. You are happy to come to do this, and then eventually, if you get the job, your family can join you later if that's what you want. So these are things you need to consider before you make that life-changing decision. So there is no pressure, no hurry. Get your documents together, get your financials together, get everything you need to get, and be mentally prepared. Why I keep talking about the mental aspect is
I don't know. Can if you can
hear
hear me,
me.
we've lost you for a little bit.
You can hear me now, yeah?
Yes, I can hear you now, but you went off for a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Can you hear me
Hello?
now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I just, yes, I lost you for a minute. Right. So I
Okay.
was just saying that why they need to be mentally prepared is because some of them are advanced, quite advanced in age. And if they are not mentally prepared, they will not be able to give it the time it needs to prepare to research. There are going to be interviews. We don't call it pre-CAS interviews. We call it regional interviews. And there may be compliance interviews as well for students who maybe have previous refusal history for outside the UK, maybe more than one visa refusals to countries like US, Canada, or any other country except the UK. If you have a refusal for the UK, unfortunately, we might not accept you on to any of our programs. But if you've had previous visa history, refusal history, or maybe you've had quite a long study gap, you've not been engaged, you've not been doing much, these might be cases where you might need to do compliance interviews, right? So you need to be prepared. You need to know, take time to read, take time to study. Some of us have left school for like how many years ago. So reading now is a whole lot of work. So
Yes.
imagine you telling a 55 or 45-year old some to read because there's going to be an interview. It's a whole lot of work. So if you're not mentally prepared for it, it might be a challenge for you. That's why I keep hammering on the mental preparedness, which I think is also as important as the financial readiness of that student. So these are the things I think you need to be convinced that you are ready for before you make that decision.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, we do have a question here. It says, are there opportunities for MRES
For now, no, we don't offer MRS for now.
on any of your, for any of the,
Just
both Hall and Aston?
yes, we don't have masters of research for now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I know that that is one hot area that a lot of students have.
Yeah, because that allows them to go with dependents. But for now, we don't have that.
Okay, all right. So I have another question here. Person says, I have Jonathan Izil. Thank you very much for your message. Says, I have a pass in marketing with my HND, and I have over 10 years of working experience in marketing. Can I go for a direct master's program?
Yes, you can, but then it will depend on the course.
Okay, so if he was going for a master's in marketing, since that is his area of experience, would he still
That would
be
work.
eligible? Okay.
That would work, but we don't have marketing. So we don't have marketing, but then we have business and management, and we also have business management. So that has marketing as one of the core models. So that might
Mhm.
work if he has evidence to show that he has over 5 years work experience in that field. Yes, that would work.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Jonathan, it will be possible for you to get direct masters since you have the years of experience. Um, what else again? Okay, yes, a question that a lot of people tend to ask is what is the turnaround time for, like, when you put in an application, how quickly do you get a response?
For application, our turnaround time is less than a week.
Okay.
So if you put in the application, you submit all the documents, you would
Mm-hmm.
get an offer, conditional or unconditional, you will get an offer within a week.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I can find any. Okay, you're very welcome, Mr. Jonathan. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I have any other questions on here. Do we have any intake? Are all the intakes for this year closed? What intakes do we have available if the intakes for this year are completely closed?
Well, we have three intakes every year.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have now, which has just closed, is September, but the
Okay.
January intake is open, and I'm already getting students are already getting offers for January.
Okay.
So we have January, we have June, and we have September.
Okay. Okay, all right. So I mean, there's still time. The applications for January 2026 are open right now. So
Offers
they
have been
it
issued
is
already.
of wonder. So please just send in your documents so that we can put in your application. Uh, do you have any health courses for any of the institutions?
Yes, we do have healthcare management.
Healthcare management, okay.
Yep, we have healthcare management.
Healthcare management, all right. Let's see, what else again? Sorry, I'm trying to get questions.
Of
Oh,
course.
okay. So, right, someone is asking for tuition. Are there payment plans available?
Good question. Yes, we do have payment plans. Sorry, I just needed to confirm. Healthcare leadership is what we have, not
Oh,
healthcare
health
management.
or
Healthcare
healthcare leadership.
leadership. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about this, so I needed to confirm that.
Yeah.
We have installmental payment plans. For Hall, we have 5 installments.
Okay.
For Aston, we have 3 installments. Okay. Now,
Okay.
after the initial deposit for Hall is £4,350.
Okay.
Initial deposit for Aston is £5,350.
Okay.
So for Hall, after you make the initial deposit, that gets you your CAS. You are expected to make the next installment upon enrollment, really.
Okay. So there's payment upon enrollment.
For Hall, the next installment, for example, for students starting in September, they made
Mm-hmm.
a £4,350 initial deposit and tuition for them to get their offers and their CAS letters. And then resume in September, but the next payment is in October, right? On the
Okay.
15th of October. That's for students who are starting in next September. So
Mm-hmm.
that's for Hall. And like I said, it's 5 installments. For Aston, after the initial deposit of £5,350,
Mm-hmm.
we will expect them to make a 50% payment upon enrollment.
Okay.
Okay. Then the other 50% is split into which they will get to pay within the first end of the first and the second semesters. So what I always tell my partners is when you get to that 50% part, you need to break it down. It's when you're in Nigeria, you have to behave like a Nigerian. When you tell a typical Nigerian that they're expected to pay 50% upon enrollment, you will scare them away. You'll be like, no, that's too high. I can't afford it. 50% is too much. So this is what I say. Instead of telling them 50%, just break it down for them. Let's do that together. If your fee is, say, £15,000, we split that into two. That gives you
7.5.
£7,500. Good. Now, out of the 7,500, we are already asking to pay an initial deposit of tuition fee for which is £5,350. Yes. Okay. Now, if you're paying that as your initial deposit to get CAS, deduct £5,350 from 7,500. So you see what you have left is about £1,000 plus. That's what makes 50%. So it's
Yeah.
easier to break it down than to just say 50% because they will just, you won't even see them again. They won't come back to you again. So break it down, explain it to them. It's better understandable that way. When you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Um, we still have room for a couple more questions. I'm trying to see if anybody else has dropped any other question, except for Emrys, because Emrys is not available.
Yes, please.
Please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments so that I can read them. Let's see. All right. Okay, so if there is a question on age. Is there an age restriction for the people interested in coming to come and study masters, to do a master's degree rather?
Not at all. We don't have an age restriction. It is open to all. As long as you, of course, you can read, you don't have a problem reading, then it's fine.
Okay. So, so it's available, it's open to all, as long as you're willing to do your parts and do the
Exactly.
studying. Yes, please. There's no limitation. That's wonderful. We do not see any further questions. Um, just in case. Uh, all right. So, I mean, just to go over, because it seems like some people may not have gotten everything. Is it possible to just give us like a brief rundown of everything that we've discussed, so that if there is any part that they did not get, they would uh, they would get it a second time?
Uh, can you maybe just ask specific questions because it's a whole
Specific
lot we've
questions.
talked about. But if I were to try to say everything, um, let me try. So
Something is
first
better
of
than
all,
nothing.
I understand. So first of all, we don't offer undergraduate programs. We don't offer pathway programs. We don't do top-ups. That's for our sister branch, which is on campus. For us, we do direct masters, and we're happy to accept HND students and third class students. So long as they meet the prerequisite work experience for either of these qualifications. Now, I did say that the study centers are in London. So we are only recruiting for our study centers in London for Aston and Hull. So you already know these two universities, but we are focusing on the London study centers. Entry requirement is quite flexible. English can be overlooked if you have C5, minimum C5 in English, in WAEC, NECO, or GCSE. I also mentioned that I also mentioned that there is post-study work opportunities for students who want to work after studies, but there are terms and conditions. They need to do some, make sure they don't violate their student visa stipulated work hours, which you confirmed was 20 hours during term. So during school time, when school is in session, you're not expected to work beyond 20 hours. If you do, you
Of
have
course.
violated your study visa. And where you have violated that, you will not be able to get a post-study work because it will be tracked on the number of hours you've worked. This is a developed country. It is not like Nigeria, where we may still be struggling with that level of technology. Now, for the UK, we are able to track how many hours you've worked. And if for any reason it is seen that or observed that you've violated that, then of course you might need to, reconsider returning back to your country. That said, there are other opportunities for students. I did mention voluntary internships, paid internships. These are opportunities that are available to students for Aston. But I also encourage that you take up opportunities, just build your resume and don't put the money forward. You might not get a job that is willing to pay you because, hello, you're just coming from Nigeria. So you don't have any previous work experience in the UK. So an employer would expect that you have gathered some level of experience working in the UK before you apply for their jobs. So that said, take up jobs, open yourself up to learning, even if it means doing intern for companies, for organizations, and at no cost. If they're not paying you, it's fine. Just build your resume. And I also did mention that Aston is quite high for employability, and we can guarantee that students get employed 6 months after their studies if they study at University of Aston, London. Okay. Several companies and organizations we partner with that we have seen students get employed into 6 months after graduation. That's for Aston. For Hall is also offering students good opportunities after studies, but it also boils down to what the student is able to do, how they are happy to explore, how they are open to learning, and just putting themselves out there. So if you're timid, if you are reserved, well, that's not a good quality for you to come to the UK with, because you need to be very outspoken. You need to be able to express yourself. You need to be able to, interact with people. Show them that you know what you're doing. Let them know that you are learned, right? So
Of
these
course.
are things that you would need to take down when you're leaving for the UK. Yes, the UK is quite adaptable. They can easily adapt to international students. They have very warm and receptive people. It's easy for you to is easy for you to migrate
Integrate.
into the system. Yes, integrate into the system. That's the better word. Integrate into the system in the UK. But if you are not putting yourself out there, it might be a bit difficult for you. So you might have a different perception about the UK from
I
other
feel like
people.
it's going to be difficult for a Nigeria not to go there and integrate.
I know, right? Well, we do have you. You are the expert. We do have quite a number of people, especially Northerners.
Okay.
Northerners naturally are usually very reserved.
Reserved.
Yes, so these are the areas that students might need to take control of when they are leaving for the UK. And then there's something called culture shock as well. So this is what students need to be prepared for when they get to the UK. Don't stick to your tradition. Don't stick to where you do things. Don't stick to the same way you do things here in Nigeria. You need to be open to learning how they do their things. If they don't go to church on Sundays, don't pick up a quarrel with somebody because they refuse to go to church on Sunday, right? You don't. It's in Nigeria. It might be something that we use as a to
Yardstick to
check
judge.
yardstick. Exactly. So if you see somebody just walking around on a Sunday morning, maybe even with a stick of cigarette, and you like, this person is a sinner, and it shows in your face, in your countenance, the way you talk to them, you may have gotten in their wrong side. So these are things that we do here that it doesn't really count when you are in the UK. So culture shock is quite important. What you eat, how you eat it, when you're there, you just have to open yourself up to learning, and then doing every other thing that requires you easily adapting into the country, basically. So really,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. So actually, we do have a question. So they're asking, do you have project management courses? And how
Yes.
much is the tuition for January intake?
Well, tuition fee is the same thing for January
September.
as we have for September. Yes, and then good thing enough, we're also offering the same. We're offering the same scholarship we offered in September. We're offering the same scholarship
January as
in
well.
January, in January as well. So yes, we do have project management, but that's only for now. Excuse me. We only have that offering in Aston. So we
Okay.
have project management in Aston. We have global business. We have data science. We have cyber security management. We have computer science. We have business analytics. We have
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. Yes, so we can get that on for Aston. Tuition fee, like I said, is 23,000 depending on the course. Most of our business courses are going for 22,500. But if they get up to 9,500 scholarship of their
Mm-hmm.
tuition, it brings the fee down to about 13 to 14,000 pounds per year.
Yes. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So Bonaventure wants to know that, okay, he says, I have a BSc second class lower in computer science. Is project management a good option for me?
I would have to ask. He said he has what? He said he has
Yes,
what? Can you just
a
confirm?
second class lower in computer science, and he wants to know if project management is a good option for him.
Does he have any work experience at all? In what field? So
Okay,
these are the
great.
questions we would ask. What field do you work? How long you've been working there? What were you
Exactly.
doing while you were there? So what he does, even while on that job, also would be considered, while assessing him for an offer or for accepting him into that program. So we need to have all those conversations, and that's why we would ask for an updated CV. This is part of the documents we ask for during application. It gives us an idea of where the student is working and what they are doing.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure, he hasn't responded to what his work experience is, but I mean, it depends on what you've been doing since completing your first degree. So that would
Exactly.
be considered as well.
So most of our courses are conversion courses. They don't need to have previous work experience, previous relevant experience. They are conversion, including
Okay.
the healthcare leadership. It's also a conversion program, right?
Yeah.
But then there are some courses that would expect them to have relevant work experience before they can apply. For courses like artificial intelligence, data science, business management. Yes, those ones we would need some level of maths, some level of computer or data studied, or even in their previous work for us to consider them for those ones.
Okay, right. There is a question for, I know that for ICT courses, usually the entry requirements tend to be higher. So for people who have third class HND, would they still be considered for these courses for IT and ICT?
We don't have ICT courses. What we have is artificial intelligence and data science. I'm not sure if that's what you meant by ICT.
It
We
still falls
have
under ICT. It's still under,
Okay. So
yes.
you are the expert. We have business analytics, we have computer science, and the cyber security. Yes. So they can but it's two ways. Where they have the degree two, it doesn't matter. The work experience will not be considered, right? But there are specific courses, like I said, like for example, artificial intelligence and data science. We will need them to have studied some level of maths, computer, or data
Okay.
in previous degree or in previous work they've done, or maybe done something related to um, coding, those those words I'm trying to get
Yes.
right, coding and computing and all that stuff. Yes. So
Computer
for
languages.
exactly for them to apply for courses like artificial intelligence and data science.
Okay. All right. So I think those are all of the questions that we have. Thank you so much for coming here and informing our audience on your offerings. It was a wonderful pleasure meeting you and have been able to have this discussion with you.
It's been an experience, totally, having this conversation with you. Totally, totally love it. Thank you for having me on the call. We're always happy. For those of you who are on the call, to the students who are here, to prospective students who are here, ISP Education is one of our very, very reputable partners. So they are, trust me, you're in safe hands, you're in good hands. Go to them. They would give you the professional advice and guidance you need if you're looking to apply to University of Hull or Aston London campuses. ISP, I recommend.
Okay, all right. So we will be dropping our information in the comments as well. So for those of you that are interested, you can easily give us a call. But if since there are no longer questions on the chat that I can see that is not MRS related, we'll be bringing this session to a close. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, we do this again.
Hopefully we will.
Thank you. Enjoy
All
the
right.
rest of your day. And it's
Bye
bye from me.
everyone.
Bye.